From across the country. Today is Thursday, July 31st, 2025, and this is All the Leads Mastermind Podcast number 539. It's an open forum today, and I actually didn't have anything I was going to start with, and then 10 minutes ago, I got an interesting quote on my Facebook feed, so I thought I would just open by sharing that. Maybe it'll spark some discussion. I notice when I call our subscribers who want to take a break, one of the most common things I hear is I just need to save some money. And I saw a great quote from Henry Ford. He said, "A man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops a clock to save time." I thought, when you think about it, that's really true. I think it really highlights the importance of consistent marketing efforts. So that is my contribution. Tim, what brilliant comments or quotes do you have?
I'm still trying to put together what you just said. I'm baffled. How do you stop time? I'm confused now.
Stop a clock to save time. It doesn't work otherwise. It's just a waste.
I got it.
All right.
The only thing I would say is, it's kind of along the same themes. I literally, things creep up on you, and I literally was shocked today to realize that tomorrow is August, and they're already talking about back to school haircuts, back to school, sales and all kinds of stuff. And I realized that, in different stages and times of your life gets broken up into segments, a lot of it based around the things that are going on around you. We plan our vacations around time the kids are out of school or, various and sundry things. I wonder if you have yet accomplished what you said you were going to do this summer. This summer I'm going to do this. And how many of you have done that? And I hope that one of the things that you plan to do was to take the time to work on your business and retrench a little bit and build a pillar of it. And that's what we're here about. We think that each of the lead sources we offer is worthy of being such a pillar, and we're here to help you. So that's all I was thinking. I'm shocked that tomorrow it's going to be August. When August rolled around when I was a kid growing up, it's like, oh, heck, summer's getting ready to be over. And even though we didn't go back to school until September, I was already lamenting the loss of summer. So I hope everybody's had a good summer so far, but let's work together to make it better. That's what I got. You got anything else, Jim? That was it. That's the best you got?
Nope, that's it. I was pretty good. Good
All
start.
right.
Now we rely on our subs to come up with something.
So let's talk about this call and kind of what we're here for. So not all the others, but recently we've been doing themes and we've been talking about some things that we think are important for you, and we kind of preset an agenda. And then, every time we do that, people come back and say, "Oh, I had some questions, but didn't want to ask them in the middle of, the discussion that you had last week." So we're definitely going to reserve some times like this where we simply take the open calls and want to see what's going on. And we'll probably have at least a mini theme each time going forward, because we're trying to give you something that will excite you and give you something that you can sink your teeth in after the call's over. And Alyssa's doing a great job of putting all that material together for us. So going forward, we'll have some at least mini themes, and then all call long themes. So Bruce, how about you, buddy? What are you chewing on there?
Caught me eating a beef stick.
Health food.
Is that all you want to talk about?
Anything new in your anything new in your world, bud?
No, I just want to kind of express the importance of staying consistent. I mean, this is just a broken record. I could come on here every week and talk about staying consistent, but Jim opened by saying that some people cut leads off to save money. Saving money is probably the lowest priority for those that are consistently hitting their activities. Because if you guys are hitting the activities that you've figured out you need to hit, and maybe it's a particular number of calls or a particular amount of conversations, a particular number of marketing pieces out the door, maybe it's a certain number of attorneys that you're talking to, if you're hitting those KPIs in your business, saving money is kind of the last thing. So a lot of times saving money and that worry and that need is a bit of a symptom of a lack of activity, a lack of appropriate activities. I usually encourage folks to um, treat their business in two different ways. So number one is you're in the business activities. Those are your key performance indicators. Those are every week I'm going to have this many conversations. Every week I'm going to meet this many attorneys. Every week I'm going to do this many videos, things like that. And then you've got your on the business activities. So how much time each week are you spending trying to build some kind of a system into your business? And it's not strictly about time. It's about efficiency with that time, but start with time. So if you say every week I'm going to spend 4 hours working on some kind of a system to make my business more efficient, you'll grow. And then the rest of the time is kind of an in the business activity, creating a pipeline for yourself. And I just want to encourage those of you that are maybe stuck. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 months of leads and you haven't done anything with them yet. Just start getting some activity, start having conversations, set yourself a goal to have a particular number of conversations over the next week. And next week, do the same thing. And next week, do the same thing. And before long, you're not going to be worried about whether it's costing you a certain amount to keep generating leads or to keep marketing because the business is coming in. And I sympathize with people who worry about the budget. But wouldn't it be nice to not worry about the budget because you have steady, predictable activity, steady, predictable closings or deals coming in because of the activities that you've been doing?
Indeed. Jim, you got your hand up there, bud.
Yeah, Bruce, you just triggered a memory from my coaching days. One of the axioms that we used to share with our clients was very simple, but your appointment to prospect is more important than the appointments you get while prospecting. And that's one thing you just said, that everybody focuses on their goals. My goal is to do 2 deals a month. My goal is to do a deal a week. My goal. But if you work backwards and focus on the activities, the goals take care of themselves. And if you focus on the activities and you measure your results and you adjust those, you don't adjust your goals by saying, I had a goal to do 5 this week. I've only done 1, so I'm going to change the goal to 2. No, you look at your activities. I had a goal to prospect for 3 hours a day and talk to 20 people a day. That's not enough. I need to do more, or maybe I need to condense it down a little bit and reduce my goal. But focusing on it's very much like what the axiom I just said. Focusing on your activities is really more important and more consistent than focusing on the results.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that you really teach that I don't hear a lot from other coaches.
Well, this makes sense to me. I've probably used this example a few dozen times, and for all I know, because nobody shakes their head and like fist pumps or anything, so for all I know, this falls on deaf ears and it doesn't make sense to the rest of you guys. But I say that setting a goal, the way that most of us set a goal, is kind of like sticking a flag on the opposite side of the Grand Canyon from where you are. And now you've got this gorgeous goal out in the future, and you just walk blindly toward that flag that you're looking at, and you fall in a hole. Okay, so the goal kind of needs to come first, but what we really need to do is work back and figure out what activities we're going to do based on our conversation rates, based on our conversion rates, based on the number of people we add to our pipeline, and kind of work it backward a few steps and figure out what the specific path needs to look like. And once you know what the path looks like, you don't have to look at the flag anymore. You look at the path knowing that the path is going to lead to the deal. The path will lead to the goal. So set the goal first, but once you set the goal and you figure out your path, you don't have to look at that goal anymore. You shouldn't have to look at that goal anymore. You just watch the path. And that's why one of the things that I tell a lot of people is don't track your number of closings, your number of listings. Don't necessarily track that as this big woohoo moment. Track the individual daily or weekly activity. Those closings are going to come. They're just a symptom of the daily and weekly activities that you take.
And Bruce, kind of a sub point of what you just said. I love the way you focus on not even focusing on the number of appointments you go on or the number of calls you make. You focus on the number of people you put in your pipeline every day or every week or every month, because you know the pipeline is going to result in a certain percentage of deals down the road. I've never heard anybody, that's really a sub focus. You know, it was a good day if you had no appointments, no sales, but you put 10 people in your pipeline.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand how that translates, but it makes perfect sense to me.
Well, the other thing that's important to remember is that, you know, and it ties more, I think, to what Bruce said, is thinking about the flag on the other side of the Grand Canyon. That may be how you want to get there. But in order to get there, it's going to take discipline. It's going to take habits that you execute faithfully every day and all of that. And I just wonder, and I will certainly say the same thing here first. There are a lot of things that I wish I would form as a business habit and say, I'll do this every single day, and I'll do it without fail, and I'll do it at the same time, and I'll make it a part of my life. And if you do that and you have those things and they're solid, then as you add more habits that become productive for what you're doing, you'll find that the path Bruce is talking about, pretty clear path. But if you don't have any habits, you don't have any discipline that's there, you're not going to get there. So I guess the thing I would take out of this is look at your daily activities today. Is there anything that you're doing now that actually is a habit and you know that you do it every day? And if you do, that's a good thing, but you need to take advantage of it and make sure, number one, is it indeed a habit you want to keep? Is it something that's good for you? Does it get you toward the flag on the other side of the Grand Canyon? Or is it just something that you do because you feel good about the fact you did something? You need to plan those activities and get it going. You got one commodity to spend all day long, and it's that clock. Every time that clock ticks, you spent money. And if you've got a habit that you're spending it on and spending it wisely, good for you, it'll pay off. If you just spend them randomly, if you just get up out of bed in the morning and go, oh, well, what am I going to do today? You're not going to get anywhere. And you've got to have a habit that you can build and other habits to join them together. Then it becomes easy. You know, it's like, well, I do these things and these things. Well, that fits great into this habit that I'm already working on. I can add that to my daily bill of activity and get it going like that. I know it sounds like we're lecturing. I don't mean it that way, but habits are so very important. And particularly in a business where you're the sole owner practitioner and you're the person that's doing it. Most of us that are in this, in terms of our real estate business, whether we're part of a team or not, we're one man or one woman bands, and you got to make sure that you're singing the right song. So I would encourage you to think
keep this going. I'll threaten everybody. We'll keep this going all day if somebody doesn't raise their hand and ask a question.
Really.
But you reminded me of if you're going to set a habit that seems like a grind, try to make it fun. Give yourself a reward and give yourself a punishment if you don't achieve it. You know, I remember I had one guy I was coaching that he set an ironclad goal, and he told his kids, if Daddy achieves this goal, we're all going to Disney World in June. And if we don't, it's all my fault. We're not going. So he said he'd have his kids ask him every week, Daddy, are we going to Disney World? And Daddy would go to Disney World. I know you never heard this before, but in my coaching career, I started out, I used to make 100 contacts a day. And to be honest with you, people used to answer the phone back then. It was a lot easier to hit the 100. But I didn't hang up and then one week I said, well, I'm going to do it every day this week. And then it turned into a month. And I said, how many months can I do this? And by the time now I'm a little bit ADD, I'm a little bit fanatical, but by the time I quit, no, you didn't know that. By the time I quit selling, I had done that for 800 consecutive work days. I just didn't get off the phone until I talked to 100 people. And, you know, people say, how do you get so good at doing this? Just do it a whole lot and you get good at it. But try to make it fun along the way too, I think, and give yourself rewards and punishments. And not only that, but hold each other accountable. Geez, if you tell that's the whole essence of coaching. You just tell your coach what you're going to do, and then you feel guilty if you don't. It's a lot easier to let yourself off the hook than to disappoint somebody else.
So basically, just be better people. Come on, be better every day. Be better. Do good things.
All right, somebody raised their hand. Thank goodness.
What's up, Paul? Unmute yourself there, buddy. You're still muted, partner. There you go.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks, gentlemen, for providing the list of information and your insights. So I'd like to get from each one of you how you approach a homeowner with knowing that they're in default or that they missed a mortgage without it feeling like you're clubbing seals.
Hey, is who's doing late mortgage here? So admittedly, I'm probate only, but I have a little bit of insight on this, and I've called some late mortgage before as well. So there's kind of two different ways. Number one is hide your knowledge. So I'm calling about 123 Main Street. Treat it like a circle prospecting call where you're not chasing any specific issue that they're having. And that works. There's a lot of folks that have found that works. I normally tend to lean a little bit more toward transparency. I'm not 100% sure this is relevant. One of the things that I do is I step in and I help when there's a situation with the court system, specifically where banks have potentially notified someone of late mortgage or delinquency. Your property address was somehow tied to that this month. I was wondering if I could take just a really fast second and tell you what I was calling for and kind of just be transparent. I could go both ways. I do lean toward being a little bit more transparent with what I'm doing. I haven't tested that a lot in my own business, but pretty much any cold call that I make, I usually start with the transparent side and then make adjustments based on the reaction I'm getting on the phone.
Jim?
And I know Bill, I don't know if Bill's here. I don't see Bill. He does a lot of late mortgage. Where's Bill?
Yeah, I don't see Bill yet either. He's maybe a little bit late
Sure.
today. Hey, I think it was Paul. I think everybody would agree, but the worst approach is to say, hey, I know you're getting divorced. I know you're behind in your payments. I can help. And what Bruce just did was a little bit of an end run to kind of mention it. I personally love what one of our subscribers, Ed, said. He said it works well in his market. I think he's in Indiana or somewhere in the Midwest. I know Aline said it wouldn't work real well in New York or New Jersey, but he came on and shared with us that he said, this may sound kind of crazy. I've got this list in front of me that I got from a friend of mine, and it identifies people that might be interested in selling, or actually what I think he said it is, it gives me a list of people whose houses raised their hand and said, hey, I need to get sold. And I don't know why, for some reason, you're on that list. And he said, first time he used it, she said, well, I can tell you why, because, I'm getting divorced and I'm 6 months behind on my payments. So it's a little bit less insulting to them. And to me, it's a little bit more honest too, than to pretend like it's just an accidental call. So as long as you don't use the words getting divorced, late on your mortgage, there's a lot of different ways you can get there without making the people feel defensive or threatened. But I particularly like that one. I think I would use that and it depends a lot on your personality, and you can tell too, and you also mix and match. You got to listen to the person that's answering the phone. If they sound super stressed out, you might want to use a little bit softer approach. If they sound real friendly and they sound like they sense of humor, say, hey, your house raised its hand. So try them and see but I would also say that whatever you're the most comfortable with is probably going to work the best. So, because you're going to come across as being comfortable, and that's almost more important than what you say.
I always lean into congruency above all else. Whatever you're doing, you need to be congruent with. My old mentor years and years ago, I would go on listing appointments with him. We went on way over 50 cold listing appointments. And by cold, people had reached out, I'm going to sell my house, but we don't have a relationship with you guys. And my future partner, At that time, mentor, he just had a particular way that he would present, go through a listing plan, get people to sign. He never missed one, never. Just had an unbelievable track record of meeting with people that he didn't know before that day and getting them to sign. And I memorized his approach. And I walked in to my very first appointment and went through it. And I handed him a pen at the end, which is what he would always do. And the person said, "I want you to leave. I want you to leave." And I was completely floored. Like I did everything the same that my mentor does, and it didn't work. How could this not work? And it was because it wasn't congruent to the way that I lived, that I presented myself in general. So one person could go in and use my approach and it's very congruent for them and they get appointments. Another person could get cussed out every single time. It's not congruent. So you got to figure out what is congruent for you. And I saw Bill come in.
And we
I
have
don't
a
know where he
second
is.
Paul. It's a little
There he is.
confusing. We have two Pauls with their hands up, but Paul number two, it doesn't look like a Paul, just raised their hand.
Go ahead.
When,
Unmute yourself there, Paul. There you go.
There he is.
hello. Well, I'm brand new to all the leads. I've had a couple experiences with probates. Neither one of them good. One was a listing I took and I got them into escrow and couldn't close the deal because we found out that at the end of escrow, that we couldn't close the deal because she needed to go through probate. As a result, I lost that deal. And then the other one was somebody that I knew was going into probate, got the listing secured, but lawyers got involved and took me out of the deal because they had their own agent they wanted to insert with the clients and kind of forced the agent to go with their based on the fact that their agent would do a 2% commission. So those are my two bad experiences. But I did a wholesale deal, which was my biggest deal to date. So I kind of feel like I want to get into probates because I just feel it's my best opportunity to find wholesale properties. And also to help people. But I think I just finally got the leads delivered today. So and this is my first mastermind meeting, so I just kind of want some advice on how to get started. And I mean, right from the beginning, where would I go and the approach I should use? Because I'd like to get started calling them today. And
Amazing. Yep. So I'll jump in here and basically say that people in probate they're going to need some resources many times that come up before they make real estate decisions. So first thing I would say is offer those first. Offer some sort of present yourself kind of as an estate administration or a probate specialist that helps with the whole process. That will lead many times into something like, yeah, send me your information and I'll call you if I need anything. I'm happy with that response from someone. As a matter of fact, I go, I don't know if you need anything right now or if it would be better for me to just send you some information and then you can reach out to me if you need anything. And a lot of times they go, yeah, that's fine. It's not because they immediately think that they're going to be reading through all your information. And sometimes it's a little bit of a put off, but that's okay because that allows you to shift into the real estate conversation. It's before I let you go. Let me ask this. Are there any assets involved in the estate, such as maybe real estate or vehicles or anything that the family's leaning towards selling? Or have you guys just not had that conversation yet? And that's where you're gonna get your hand raises, and they may not even realize it. But the fact that I delay my own gratification and I put that off until after I've kind of presented that I helped through the process and I offer to send them some information, that really wins me a lot of rapport points and gets more truthful answers when I shift to the assets and the real estate part of the conversation. those two scenarios that you brought up are, I've run into both of those. Um, the attorneys really couldn't cut you out of the deal. I mean, it sounded to me like you already had a listing on that one. Did I mishear you
I had a
when
signed list. I had a signed listing agreement. My client was not happy with her attorney. She had told the attorney that she has a realtor, this and that. But the attorney for the other side. So there was step siblings, and her that owned the whole house, right?
Mhm.
But the siblings got a lawyer, and then against her lawyer, and her lawyer wasn't. And I knew her lawyer, and her lawyer wasn't kind of like pulling his weight or doing anything or advocating for his client. The other side, the sibling side, was pushing to have their realtor, and they said, well, submit your. I tried contacting the agent. They would, they never contacted me. They had me send me my resume, this and that, blah blah blah. They were saying you're up for consideration, and then ultimately they convinced my client to, because I was a 3% commission. They
Mhm.
and the decision was made before even consulting with me.
Yeah.
Um, but they said, well, our realtor will do it for 2%.
Yeah. It kind of
Undercut me.
sounds like your client caved to potentially keep the peace.
Yeah.
Now that sometimes happens. That legitimately from time to time happens, but normally that attorney at that point, whoever I know, is either not pulling their weight, or the attorney on the other side, they're on my hit list from that point. And I'm not talking about I'm going after them, I'm trying to ruin them. I'm saying, you know what, they have proven themselves to refer. If they are actively referring another agent, why? What's it going to take for me to make that list of as a referral partner, someone that they know that they don't try to undermine next time, or that they actively undermine someone else and send to me? I don't like the attorneys that undermine a relationship, but at the same time, I benefit from it all the time. Um, I hate it when I go on a listing appointment and somebody says, "Why would my competitor says, why would you list with someone you know? They're going to know all your business." At the same time, when a client says it to me, I'm like, "Yeah, why would you? They're going to know all your business." Okay, so we've got to kind of play this balance. You know that the other attorney that pulled a client away from you does actively refer. I would have them as a target to build a relationship with. The attorney that your client was working with directly that was not really pulling their weight, that's extremely common for busy attorneys. How much would that attorney and their clients benefit from having someone like you that can help navigate the gaps in the probate process that they're not handling, that they're not able to handle? How beneficial to that attorney would it be for you to coordinate estate sales and cleanouts and repairs and things like that for their clients? So you've got two attorneys that you now have a chance to kind of build a relationship with. So on one hand, you need to approach the attorneys. On the other hand, call and offer full service guidance through the probate process. That's what families need. And just because they don't take it on your first conversation doesn't mean that they're not going to need it, and doesn't mean that they won't come back to you for the need. So I want you leading with that, leading with full service through probate, and then shifting the conversation toward assets and real estate a little bit later. Now, that's one of about a dozen different ways that work. I'm giving you the way that I prefer to make the calls, is to lead with kind of a full suite of probate services.
Hey,
Um,
Paul,
there's other techniques that also work.
let me ask you a quick question. The person that you were dealing with, had she been appointed as the personal representative via the probate process?
That's well, she was the main inheritor. Because it was her dad that owned the place. But it was a weird scenario where her stepmom, they were in the process of taking her out of the trust, the stepmom out of the trust, and her stepmom was in a home. Um, and it's just a weird scenario where they died with less than a month apart, but in the wrong order, which
I
made
understand.
Yeah, which made the step siblings part owner when they weren't supposed to be.
I
So
understand.
so
My question though was, had she been authorized by the court to be the personal representative yet?
that's what I was trying to get from the lawyers, from her. Never got an answer. So I never figured it out. I did find out who the main person was on the other side, on the side. Reached out to them, never got a call back. Reached out to the lawyer on the other side, never got a call back. So they just really they blockaded me.
So it was good that you got the listing. The challenge with this was that the person that you got it from, unfortunately, you didn't have the ability to press that contract because it sounds like she hadn't been appointed yet. So
Yeah.
she didn't really have the authority to do that. And, there's a valuable lesson there, which is to make sure if you're going to take that step and you get something signed, that they also can, show you that they've been named as as the executor or the personal representative.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to find that out after the fact, and and
And
also through the process, they, I think the lawyers were saying, well, our realtor is certified. So I went online and on CRMLS and got certified. I just took the course and you know just did it really fast, but nothing worked. I was kind of just they were determined. I think there was probably some sort of relationship and I think they did a disservice to the clients too, because this is up here in the mountains. I'm an expert in this area. I know everything, all the nuances about selling a mountain property. They got a agent like that was an hour and a half away down in the valley that I know would never come to the property if there was somebody out front wanting to see it, and she wouldn't have any knowledge about how things work here in the mountains either.
Mhm.
So, and they probably got less than, probably, I don't know. After that happened, I just walked away from the deal. I went on to other deals.
yeah,
I-
I understand. Jim, you had your hand
I'm
up.
gonna throw in that this experience is probably a really good experience once we get a little further away from it. I'm gonna take this and try to dissect it 1,000 different ways and say and really analyze it and say, is there anything that I could have done a little bit different? And I'm not saying that you weren't fighting a battle that would have been easy or was just. It may not have been a just battle, but there's going to be other battles where attorneys are trying to turn their client to another partner. So evaluate it and say, when I run into this again, how am I going to adjust? And I still run into those things today.
Yeah, I do
It's
that constantly.
happening. Yeah, not all the time, but it'll happen. So let's learn from it and start to capture more of those
Jim, you
when.
had your hand up, bud.
Yeah, hey Paul, one of the first comments you made was you just did a big wholesale deal and you thought probate would be a good way to wholesale.
Yeah,
And I can't think of a better source than probate for wholesale for one main reason. Unless the attorney has applied for full authority or unless someone's willing to go to the court and get an extra approval, in most cases, when you get that probate, you probably got 2, 3, 4, 5 months until you have to close. You got plenty of time to find your end buyer.
yeah,
And so you don't actually have to take title. You can make that wholesale fee in between, and you got plenty of time to find a buyer. For that reason, I think it's ideal. The other thing I was going to say also, one thing given that it is going to take a few months, one of the other services that we don't talk about probably enough that we offer as a subscriber, you can offer them probate cash. If they are listed as an heir in the estate, they can get funds within 48 hours in most cases. All they got to do is verify that they're one of the heirs, and and you get a commission on that, whether you get the deal or not.
what
So
is
that's
probate?
just a huge extra value you can offer. What was that, Paul?
What is probate cash?
Tim, you may want to elaborate a little bit, but it's a company that we partnered with that we list on our website that is their sole business is they advance cash to heirs of the states. And it's not like it's no credit report, there's no qualifying. They just have to prove that they're going to inherit funds. And I believe they can get up to about 75% of it, of what they have coming. Is that accurate, Tim?
It's a little high, but probably is more like 65%, but
Okay.
thing that has to be aware is that they have to be named in a will. There has to be an attorney in the deal. So the attorney must have been appointed and be able to say to the probate cash people, yes, Sally or Billy are named in the will for this property. And then you're going to have to at least get a BPO or something that says, this is what this property is going to sell for. Here's the equity in the property. Therefore, 65% of that would equate to such and such. So it's a hard number. And the real value of the probate cash people is that they will wait until settlement to get paid. So they can get the money in advance if they need to do some curb enhancement by some repairs that are needed on deferred maintenance or whatever, they can do that. Or more importantly, what often happens in the case of probate is that the breadwinner is the one who passed away and family's desperate for money, but they don't want to just dump the house. They need to hold on a little while and maybe they want to hold for a higher dollar so you can get it listed and sold, but they need some money to exist on. Probate cash can do that as well. And the form is on our website. And if you have one of our credibility websites, we actually put that same form on your website so that it looks like you have the ability to tender that same offer to your potential clients. So you should look into one of our websites with that feature on it.
Website with probate cash. Okay. Yeah, the wholesale deal I did was like, I mean, it's kind of, it wasn't really a probate, but it was my client's husband had died, and she wanted to move closer to her brother, and her brother had a house for her to move into, right? And so I went down there and I told her, she had a room that had one bedroom that had a cat living in it for 10 years, and one room that her husband had converted into a recording studio. It was all painted black and removed the closet. So I said, and there's roofing, some things that needed to be done. We need to clear out everything from the house, have a yard sale, do this and restore the rooms, fix the roof, all the stuff. And I said, I can get you probably 1.5, 1.6 million. But throughout the process, her eyes just glazed over and she goes, Paul, I don't care about any of that. I just want to get out of here because her husband had just died. She was really kind of distraught. I just want to get out of here. I'd be happy with 1 million. So I called my broker because I turned down a couple of deals like this. I'd given some of these deals to other people because I didn't have the money to act on things like this myself. My broker found out about it, said, look, if you ever come across a wholesale deal again, tell me, I'll buy it and I'll split the money with you. So that's exactly what he did. He bought the house for $1 million, gave it a paint job, fixed the roof, did some repairs. I put it back on the market, sold it for 1,550,000. After repairs and everything, he split the money with me, wrote me a check for $190,000.
Wow.
I've never had a deal like that in my life, so I just figured, well, I want to find more deals like that. So I'm thinking, well, find more people that, need to sell. Because I'm thinking with probate, maybe somebody inherits a house that lives in New York. I'm in California. They live in New York and they don't want to come out to California and deal with it. So they may just want to sell it fast.
Very likely piece of low-hanging fruit just like that. That's what you're looking for.
What's that?
I said that's a low-hanging fruit you look for in that opportunity for a wholesale deal where it's an absentee owner, where they're, like you said, they live in New York and the property's in your backyard.
Yeah.
They provide real value.
Paul, the nice thing you offer too, a lot of wholesalers do it because it's their only option. They don't, it sounds like you're in a position to offer them, you can list it, you can sell it, you can wholesale it. That being able to offer them multiple options depending on what's best for them is huge.
Yeah, and I
So,
start with listing, and I said, nowadays, even when no matter what I do, I give to I have somebody I'm going to meet with tomorrow. It was a lady whose roommate died. She inherited the house. She did not. I was telling her all the stuff we need to do, going through my whole listing presentation. She just doesn't, and she has to clear out her house to get it ready for sale. But she can't take care of the house anymore, and she's moving near her pastor. So I'm going to make her an offer. It sounded like she did, but my first choice is I'm always going to advise the client, go and market. That's how I'm going to get you the most amount of money. But there's going to be realty fees, escrow fees, all that kind of stuff. But if my broker buys it, we'll waive all fees and we'll pay all the escrow fees. Here's an offer, nice and clean. And so I'm going to offer them at least two scenarios, put it on the, list it, market it, put it on the market, try to get top dollar, or if you just need something nice and easy to make your life easy, where you can just leave everything in the house that you don't want, we'll buy it straight up. Anyway,
excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're getting probate. Are you doing the late mortgage leads also, or just probate?
I think I just ordered probate leads. I haven't even touched them yet. I didn't even know I had them until I called them. I said, yeah, it's in your inbox. So they showed me how to find them. So I did see it.
I'm going to try to sell you something else. We'll let you get comfortable with them first, but you'd be an ideal candidate also for late mortgage. You really would, because you got all the tools you can throw out to the people.
Okay. Is that something you guys offer too?
Yes, sir.
Late mortgage. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have I'll have whoever your account representative is after the call reach out and kind of walk you through the whole program.
Oh, okay, cool.
Do you remember who you spoke to when you signed up?
I think it was Melissa, and then
Yep.
and for coaching, I did a coaching call with a guy I think his name was Brian or Bill, I want to say. I'm not sure.
Bill
Some guy
Burke?
Bill's smiling over there. Bill is on the call.
Yeah, it was me, right. Paul, it was me, Paul.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
What?
Yeah, that would be a great add-on for you. And these aren't people that are in foreclosure. You're reaching them when they just get 2, 3, 4 months behind on the payments. And so they usually need a quick solution, and you have all the solutions to offer them. That'd be a good add-on for you. Yeah.
I just found out by accident, I found out that my neighbors on either side of me in Glendale, and I want to buy their place. I've been wanting to move and buy in that neighborhood, and they're behind in their payments. I don't know that they're going to want to sell, but I'd like to figure out how to approach that as well.
Hey, Bill, while we're talking to you, I think, didn't you move into a house that you found years ago? Wasn't that one of your first deals when you started working with us? Or am I remembering wrong?
I got my house through foreclosure, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You bid on it and got it that way. I remember it was creative, and you're still living there, right?
Yeah, no windows, no doors, no septic tank, no well. It was a great deal.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to really quickly mention, if you didn't catch our episode or it was a couple weeks ago now, which was kind of like a mini late mortgage masterclass episode, we went through a lot of awesome information about how to work those leads and best practices and things like that. I did just post the link in the Zoom chat. So for those of you that are on Zoom, you can go there to grab that link and bookmark it so you can check it out later. If you are on our stream, you can go to our YouTube channel. It's just all the leads on YouTube, and it's a couple episodes back. Late Mortgage Masterclass is the name of the episode, so you can just search it right on our channel. And there's a lot of excellent information on that episode.
Good job. Good way to thanks for telling them that. Hey, guys, we got about 13 minutes by my clock left in the hour. If you want to raise your hand, please do that. We'd love to talk with you about anything we can help you with. We've enjoyed our chat with Paul, and that was a great subject. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Please feel free to raise your hand. There we go. What's up, Eric? Unmute yourself there, buddy.
Yes, sir. Hey, just want to get a little quick education on probate cash and how we can pitch it, because I haven't been pitching that, but I think it's a great resource.
So what questions do you have?
What are the terms that they're asking for? I mean, you just need to provide proof that you're a beneficiary, and then how do they divide it up? And is it a loan, and is there any interest on the loan, or how does all that work?
Well, they definitely charge interest, but it is not a loan, and they're very careful to say that because it's not covered by the same rules and regulations that a regular loan is. I would actually look at it as akin to the payday loan business. It's very similar to that in that they're offering it and waiting until an event to settle. Payday loan business, they wait until you get paid. In this, they wait until the settlement occurs. The real issue is that you just have to validate that they are indeed named in the will, and you can justify the dollars that they're asking for based on what the house should sell for at the time that it closes. And that's really all that's necessary to do that. And they'll figure it out with the people at Probate Cash will figure it out with the people. They have a whole big staff. You just get the form filled out, it gets flipped to them. They call them and start working with them. And they'll
So
And
do
they
it,
like
write you a commission check. You get a commission check at the end too, if they fund the loan.
right. They'll give you some money as well for making the deal. Go ahead, Eric. What were you going to say?
So it's a cash advance.
Is it cash advance? That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what commission they give us?
It depends on the amount that's out there. It can be as little as 300 and up into the thousands based on what they're putting on the street.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Hey, Paul, you had your hand up again, bud. Go ahead.
Yeah, you had mentioned, talking to him about offering full service guidance and a full list of services, or like having a full suite of probate services that I can offer him. Is there anything like that, a list that an example list or something I can look for on all the leads on the website? Or
Talk to your, have you had a conversation yet with your strategist, your marketing strategist? I think not.
I'm not even sure who, I know I've talked to Bill and I've talked to somebody named Melissa. I don't know what their titles are.
Yeah, I don't think you've had your welcome call yet, and that's a question for them, and they will talk to you and show you the wheel of probate, which is something else you could put up on your website. But more importantly, it talks about all the spokes in that wheel. And I would also tell you to pay attention in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a whole session upcoming, probably one of our next formatted sessions on what that team looks like and how to recruit it, and what the
Okay.
value of that team is going to be. So we'll
That's
give you
right.
more training on that coming up.
Hey,
Okay,
Paul, I'm going to have Melissa reach out to you, not only to go over the late mortgage leads, but to schedule an appointment with your marketing strategist. And I'll have her do that right after this call.
perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, anybody else have questions? We got 9 minutes left. Up there we go. Alyssa's got a thing to say.
I just wanted to mention we are working on providing a lot of different resources and adding even more tools and things for you guys to sharpen your swords. So if you are not already subscribed to our email list, I highly encourage you to do so. You can just go to alltheleads.com/opt-in and make sure you join our list. You can get all of the good stuff that we've got, and that includes upcoming deals and specials, and all of that good stuff.
All
And
right.
Alyssa, if I could add to that, Darcy pointed out to me this morning, we have something like 19,000 people in our Facebook group. For some reason, recently, it hasn't been quite as active as it used to be. And so I would really encourage you guys to subscribe to the All the Leads. We have All the Leads Facebook and we have All the Leads Mastermind, I believe. Are there two different ones, Alyssa? Or is it the same group?
One is our page, so you can like our page. One is our community group. That's more for engaging with peers and things like that. So definitely join the group. I'll post the link.
And if you need a referral or something, look there, post it there. You can mention on these calls, but they're all people that have come through the same system and filter as you. And it's quite an extensive group. We'd like to see you guys use it probably more than you do.
Let me make one other point, and that's this, that, you don't have to wait for these weekly meetings to come and ask your questions. You have the ability to make yourself available to a coach, any one of our coaches at any time. That's part of our value subscriber. And Aline is one of our coaches. She's on here. Bill is one of them. Steve is on here. The three of them are on here now, and they can help you with anything that you need help with in the interim. If you run into a tough situation or you got some question during the week or whatever, set yourself up with a coaching call. Get on their schedule. They love to talk to you. That's what they're here for. So it's just one of the values that we bring.
Investors want to stop chasing cold leads and start having real conversations with motivated sellers?
Somebody turned something on there. Who was that?
No, but it was good.
Yeah.
That was our podcast promo for today.
Okay.
Someone's doing their homework and joining the Facebook group because that's on there.
Good job. Good job. Okay. If you have questions, we got 6 more minutes. We're not just going to keep here flapping our lips. If we don't have anything, we'll end her early today, but it's been a good day. If anybody has the last question they'd like to raise their hand and ask, or point out a win or a deal or an idea or anything exciting, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to raise your hand. 1, 2.
Before you do that, Tim, Steve and Aline, okay, go ahead. He's pulling the curtain. I was going to see if Steve and Aline had anything they wanted to add or contribute. Put them on the spot for a minute or two. No?
They're adults. They would have said something if they needed to talk. Anybody got anything else? We'll call it a day here. I think we're done. Jimmy, take us out, buddy.
All right. Very unusual. We're ending like 3 minutes early, but good content today. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Particularly thank the two Pauls, Bill, Alyssa, and Eric, for actively participating. I want to challenge each of you, take one idea that inspired you on this call. Maybe it's probate cash. Maybe it's something else we talked about. Go out and put it into practice and come back next Thursday and share the results with the group. Thank you, everybody. See you same time next week. Take care.
Hey, Bud Thompson, I'm going to call you in about a minute, so take my call, please, sir.